The Bulletin by Barbara Bergin.
I've got the mimeograph working, Miss Fitz.
Ah!
You have to lift the handle while you turn it.
Nothing stopping us now, Mikey. Only the British Empire.
Sure, what else will we be doing, huh?
Hello? I'm Kathleen McKenna, the typist. Mr. Gallagher said
Come in. I'm Fitzy, this is Mikey.
The dog's body.
You can hang your coat there to dry off. Oh, I like your green tam hat.
Oh, this old thing.
I'm sure the Minister of Publicity told you you'll be responsible for typing, duplicating and posting the paper every day.
And not getting caught.
Oh, that's why we need a nobody.
In the enemy's eyes. You won't have anyone following you.
We're all active, you see. I'm in Cumann na Mán, Mikey is in the Fina and Gally is in the Volunteers.
Gally?
Mr. Gallagher. All nicknames round here.
Gally compiles the paper and I do a weekly roundup called The Acts of Aggression Committed in Ireland by the Military and Police of the Usurping English Government as reported in the Daily Press.
Catchy title, eh?
Smoke?
Yes, thank you.
Here's Gally now. A fierce man for the Gilbert and Sullivan tunes.
Here we have it. 30 names to help us breach the wall of British censorship and tell the world the horrors of Britain's war in Ireland.
Our golden list of foreign journalists the paper is to be sent to.
Now, let us commence our mighty task.
Only the one page?
Just verifiable facts to counter Britain's lies. And there's only the one wax stencil, so...
So no mistakes. The Irish Bulletin, issue number 1, 11th of November, 1919.
Town wrecking English soldiers.
4th of January, 1920.
Irish nation suppressed.
50 new American names for the list.
Curfew order imposed.
10th of March.
Lord Mayor murdered.
14 more British Labour MPs want copies.
20th of April.
Hunger strike in Mountjoy jail.
10 Australian journalists. 4 more French names.
1st of May.
Irish press gagged.
16 US senators on the list now.
25th of June.
Black and Tans fire town.
London, July 5th, 1920. In writing a diary, it is impossible to resist prophecy. And in reading it, our chief amusement is seeing how wrong one was. The new job is in Ireland. Fisher's report was damning.
The British government in Dublin Castle is woodenly stupid and devoid of imagination. There is to be a new policy and new administration for Ireland.
And you want me as an assistant undersecretary in Dublin Castle?
Sturgis, your insouciant air covers a shrewd judgment. You will be invaluable when it comes to laying the groundwork for the inevitable settlement. Ireland will strengthen your dossier for future plums.
And make for a fascinating diary.
I look forward to reading it, Sturgis.
And so for several days I've been talking Ireland and trying to learn.
The Irish are a tragically long-memoried race. They have always been treated as children and have grown up mischievous children.
Irish Bulletin, 9th July, 1920. Police mutiny in Ireland.
Typing and smoking without dropping your ash. Impressive, Mac.
I strive for accuracy, just like the Bulletin.
And never miss a trick.
This piece of paper, my friends, is dynamite. Actual proof of the new British policy for Ireland.
Let's roll out our 400 copies and get ready to flit.
For the 7th time. Hardly settled and we're moving again.
I'll get started on addressing the envelopes.
Read me back the section I wrote about the police, Mac.
The Royal Irish Constabulary is not a police force but a military force. It is reinforced by the Black and Tans, ex-servicemen recruited in England, responsible for outrages, looting and murder.
The Irish Bulletin has received a copy of Colonel Smythe's speech, which led to a mutiny at Listowel RIC barracks. 14 constables wrote down Smythe's speech and swore under oath to its veracity.
Well, men, Sinn Fein have had all the sport up to this. We are going to have the sport now. Police and military will patrol the country at least 5 nights a week. When civilians are seen approaching, shout, "Hands up!"
Should the order not be immediately obeyed, shoot. And shoot with effect.
If persons approaching carry their hands in their pockets, shoot them down?
You may make mistakes occasionally and innocent persons may be shot.
But you are bound to get the right parties sometimes.
The more you shoot, the better I will like you.
No policeman will get into trouble for shooting any man.
As coroner's inquests are to be made illegal.
Order! Order! This is an incitement to police reprisals on innocent civilians. Chief Secretary for Ireland, Sir Hamar Greenwood.
The newspaper reports of Colonel Smythe's speech, to which my right honourable friends refer, give a wholly misleading account of what took place. July 15th, 1920. To Ireland. Colonel Smythe crossed on the same boat as us last night.
Returning from London after being summoned to explain myself. Damn nuisance of a journey.
His speech at Listowel, intended to buck up his men, was distorted by the press. I've no doubt reprisals do a good of sorts. The chief of police is sure of it, and the GOC military said if a policeman put on a mackintosh and a false beard and reprised on his own hook, he was glad of it. July 17th. Yesterday evening, Colonel Smythe was shot, dead, at his club in Cork. Ghastly business.
Irish Bulletin, 23rd August 1920. The Restoration of Order in Ireland Act. Any Irish citizen may now be arrested and tried by British court-martial for an act done at any time in the past, even if those acts were not illegal at the time.
They'll be able to do anything they like. Judge and executioner, it's pure legalised terrorism.
The Black and Tans aren't wicked enough for them. They're sending a new auxiliary division to the RIC.
All ex-army officers, and we're not at war. What have I done after internment without trial? Kathleen, wake up!
Sorry. Prisoners are refused political treatment, a right accorded in every other civilised country.
Among the 10 men on hunger strike for political rights is Terence McSweeney, Lord Mayor of Cork and member of Dáil Éireann. The government elected by 83% of the Irish people.
We've the flit. Our man in the casa says they're going raiding. I've a cab outside.
Help me out with the duplicator, Mikey. You two finish up.
Under the new regulations, Alderman McSweeney was deported to Brixton Prison.
Go, Callie, before they're crawling the place.
On the same day, the British government announced its intention of letting hunger strikers die.
Take the paper, ink and typewriter to my digs, Mikey. We'll follow on our bikes.
With our underskirts packed full of sedition.
We've our work cut out to get 500 copies in the last post. Right, let's skedaddle.
September 2nd, 1920. Scrimshanked off at 11:30 and caught the Curragh Special. No hunger striker is dead yet. I, who bet 5 shillings that McSweeney would die, am beginning to believe he won't. We are being urged quietly and persistently that reprisals are the only thing to hearten the police. If only we were openly at war, all this would have a different aspect.
You putting a lot on reprisal boy to win, Mr. Sturgis?
Your landlady doesn't complain that you're up half the night typing.
Miss O'Brien is a pet. Hopefully we'll have a new office soon.
Gally got his hands on a copy of the Black and Tan newspaper.
He must be like a child in a sweet shop.
He was thrilled by how bad the writing was.
Maybe he won't come down so hard on my mistakes.
Give as good as you get, Mac.
It's when he calls me Kathleen I know he's really vexed with me.
Ach, Gally's all bark and no bite. Ready? The Weekly Summary is an official Dublin Castle publication sent to every police barracks in Ireland. It is a hate sheet, published to create a police force who will loathe Ireland and the Irish, and its fruits are being shown by the extraordinary increase in outrages against the civilian population.
September 22nd. Bergin was sacked yesterday by Black and Tans in reprisal for 2 police officers shot. If they confine themselves to the shooting of the 2 shins, but then the burning spoilt the whole thing. Still, worse things can happen than the firing up of a sink like Bergin.
Bergin is so close to Dublin, the foreign pressmen went to see the carnage for themselves.
Did the Black and Tans act on orders of their commanding officers?
Why punish the civilian population?
35 houses, a factory, 200 people left unemployed. Innocent men killed by police.
There is a highly organised propaganda department in the Irish Republican movement.
Did they burn Balbriggan?
The Daily Mail says the slur on our nation's good name is insufferable. I almost begin to believe that these mean, dishonest, insufferably conceited Irishmen are an inferior race and are only sufferable when whipped.
Excuse me, sir. You dropped your wallet.
Mikey, the duplicator has stopped working again.
Oh, must have got damaged in the move.
I'd say 600 copies a day has it worn out. Every day of McSweeney's hunger strike, our list gets longer.
48 days now. How can he bear it?
Because he knows he's already beaten them, either by release or by death.
His health will be ruined. He could never recover.
His poor wife having to watch. And their little baby. It must be torture.
Weeping and wailing is no help to them or us, Kathleen. We have to do justice to his sacrifice.
I'm sorry, I didn't...
You know, Mac, it was Terry McSweeney's idea, originally, to produce a paper like the Bulletin.
It was.
Now his hunger strike has turned the whole world's attention on Ireland. It's our job to keep it there.
Oh! We are back in business.
1st of October, 1920. Went to Gaiety Theatre to see a very bad play. Basil Clark, head of the News Bureau, wants to resign. Thinks he's been let down as a propaganda merchant by the Balbriggan reprisal.
To be swallowed, propaganda must have a degree of verisimilitude, an air of truth.
He just told the Daily Mail, on the authority of the Chief Secretary, that reprisals would be put down. Soon, we must have a central dictator, civil or military, to be obeyed by everyone. As it is, we are a great, jealous, hydra-headed monster, asking one of its heads to abuse the others.
Molesworth Street. The Unionist heart of the city.
Hiding in plain sight. This is us, number 11.
Above James and James Crown Solicitors.
We have a brass plaque on our door too. International oil importers.
Hi, gallant crew, good morning.
Oh, galley. Proper office. Look, an elite typewriter.
A big desk for all my newspapers.
And 2 fireplaces will be toasty.
No fires, I'm afraid. We can't risk it. Nobody crosses this door, not even the caretaker.
We won't be able to take this boy out if we have to flit in a hurry.
A Roneo duplicator. We'll run off 800 copies in no time.
When Mac washes her hair, there's enough ink for the next day's bulletin.
We'll need the extra ink if this is today's issue. 7 pages.
The auxiliaries have been busy. Have you Greenwood's quote to the Times there, Fitzy?
The auxiliary division of the RIC is composed entirely of ex-officers. I have yet to find one authenticated case of a member accused of anything but the highest conduct characteristic of them.
Irish Bulletin, 19th October 1920. Murder, torture, and floggings.
October. The bakery gun boy, Kevin Barry, is sentenced to death. Great play will be made about his youth. The 3 soldiers Barry and his party killed were all under 19, so there's not much in that. McSweeney and the lesser lights of the hunger cult occupy all the limelight. It seems to matter not a damn whether we contradict lies or not. Interest dies if we don't, and nobody believes us if we do.
Irish Bulletin, 28th October 1920. There will be no Irish Bulletin published tomorrow, owing to a day of national mourning for the Lord Mayor of Cork.
The endurance and death of Alderman McSweeney, after a fast of 74 days, impressed the world with the heroic nature of Ireland's struggle against England.
What's the quote from the New York Tribune?
A gesture of deep tragedy on a stage where all the world looks on.
If they're fool enough to hang young Kevin Barry, we will make sure the world doesn't look away.
October 30th. 2 grim-looking ropes arrived from Pentonville yesterday. Barry's execution is fixed for Monday morning. Rather a pity no one noticed it is All Saints' Day. I hear Barry is quite calm and unrepentant.
Irish Bulletin, 2nd November 1920. English military government hangs 18-year-old prisoner of war.
The lower they go, the longer our mailing list gets.
They killed a woman in Gort.
I wish these lorry loads of police could be restrained from this idiotic blazing about as they drive along. This case of a woman shortly expecting a child, shot in the stomach and now dead, is beastly.
Mrs. Ellen Quinn, aged 23 years and within 2 months of childbirth, was standing in front of her house with her baby of 9 months in her arms when she was shot.
British Military Court of Inquiry returned a verdict of death by Mr.
Are you with me, Mike?
Sorry, yes. 5 days later, 15-year-old Teresa O'Connell was shot dead by black and tans while standing at her door.
There was no court of inquiry held.
What is the headline, Gally?
The British War against Irish women.
16th of November. A raid last night on the house of the IRA Chief of Staff, Mulcahy. The gent himself got away, but the papers seized are absolutely smashing. Plots to poison troops should practically kill the English support of SF. The Labour Party can hardly support plots to destroy the Liverpool docks. This will look very good in print.
Sinn Fein plot to spread typhoid among troops. That's the Times headline.
The London correspondents say nobody over there believes the typhoid plot. They're all mad for the Mulcahy story. How the fugitive IRA chief escaped in his nightshirt.
The poor man had to wake up a neighbour like that.
Maybe I should invest in some new night attire myself, just in case.
Mulcahy had a list of 200 gunmen, names and addresses. We are out raiding for these beauties, and we'll have them on the run at least. The Sinn Fein tail is down.
It's colder than a gravedigger's shovel in here.
I'm beginning to think that green tan has stuck to your head, Mac.
Keeps me half warm. Oh, God.
Carry on as normal.
We'd have got
this new crop of spies they've brought in.
The Crown Solicitor from downstairs wants a lend of a fire poker.
Oh, here.
You can keep it. We have a spare one.
We'll all be nerve cases by the time we win this war.
The ink is frozen again. I'll have to melt it.
Here you go. The Times could always do with being set alight.
Lies catch fire quicker than the truth.
I like this life most awfully. God knows if I shall ever settle down happily in a London office again. Here one is up to the neck in intrigue, plot and counterplot, with a small spice of danger all mixed up.
Get over there, Barbara. Hands up.
There's whippet tanks on Sackville Street, Mikey.
Half the Dublin IRA are on the run. Galley's waiting in the chapel. I'll hold your bike.
The streets are crawling with tans and ogsies.
Here's the scripts of the next 4 bulletins. If I don't show up in a few days' time, you and Fitzy use your initiative. Just carry on publishing.
Every day, without fail.
I'll go on in. May as well clean my slate while I'm here.
God bless, Gally.
And Mac, on no account leave your digs on Sunday morning. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Sunday, 21st November. It has been a black day of murder. Wholesale shooting of British officers at their houses by the IRA this morning. Mostly Secret Servicemen. Many were caught in bed and probably all unarmed and defenceless. Some killed in the presence of their wives. An account, but no substantiated detail, of a shooting this afternoon at a football match in Croke Park.
The Tans opened fire on us, shooting wildly into the crowd.
I heard the volleys from my digs.
14 dead, including a woman and 3 children.
One little boy was shot out of a tree.
After the massacre at Amritsar, the Manchester Guardian said, after India, Ireland. After Ireland, British workers on strike.
What's our headline, Fitzy?
The Irish Amritsar.
22nd of November. This morning's Daily Mail violently attacks us. They take it for granted that the Croke Park shooting was an unjustified reprisal on a helpless crowd.
The murder gang in Ireland issues an illegal document, the Irish Bulletin. It ought not to be the foundation literature for any member of this House. I say it is a tainted source.
Sir Hamar Greenwood incites Crown forces to treat the Bulletin staff as members of a murder gang.
Do you think Gally's safe, Fitzy? Surely he'd have got word to us by now.
I think they're watching my flat.
Come and stay with me.
And risk giving away our nobody. If I'm taken, it'll only be you left to get the Bulletin out, Matt.
Shh! Listen. Gally! Thank God you're safe.
Mikey was arrested last night with 2 other Fina boys.
Oh, God, no!
Mikey won't say a word.
They've arrested so many. They're setting up internment camps.
Tanks in the streets, prison camps, and still they deny we're at war?
Not for much longer. The West Cork IRA just ambushed the Ogsies at Kilmichael and killed 17 of them.
December 1st. The press is unanimous. The Times wishes us good speed in smashing the murder gang. It considers authorised legal methods more in keeping with England's dignity than indiscriminate reprisals. I cordially agree.
Reprisal boy won't let up.
4 counties to start with: Limerick, Tipperary, Kerry and Cork.
December 13th. Last night, several fires started in Cork. A large part of Patrick Street destroyed. My fear that reprisals, having done their work, will be impossible to control or check grows.
Black and Tans fire Cork. City business section, massive ruins.
Loss estimated at £2 million.
Give me a minute. My fingers are numb with the cold.
What's the difference between Joan of Arc and Cork City? None. They were both burned by the British.
Gally, there's 700 copies to run off and post. Look at the time.
Of course, Mistress Kathleen. The Loughnane brothers were discovered in a shocking state of mutilation. The 2 men were tied by the neck to a motor lorry and dragged after them until they were dead. There was an attempt to burn the bodies before they were dumped.
I can't. I'm sorry.
What the hell is wrong with her now?
Nothing, Gally. Maybe we've become numb to the horrors of it all.
That is exactly what our task requires.
We can't afford to become numb to one another. I'll go to her.
December 28th. Tonight I am wrapped in gloom. Not so much because there is an atmosphere of war, but complete contentment with our methods of waging it. I hate to feel we are doing things to which we cannot admit. The price in dignity seems grievously heavy.
Who's there?
No need to take fright, Miss McKenna.
Why are you wearing goggles? Who are you?
Hush now. Don't make a scene.
2nd of January 1921. Some very good stuff captured last night, together with the young lady herself in a raid on her flat. Look here, the Irish Bulletin in the secret pockets of her petticoat.
Please. No. I'll tell you everything.
Are you all right in there, Pet?
Yes. I'm sorry, Miss O'Brien. I just had a bad dream.
The young lady is called Eileen McGrain, a friend and a private secretary to Michael Collins. The Lord Mayor rang up to ask for the address of the fair Eileen for her sorrowing relatives. I told him Mountjoy Prison. I didn't tell him I hoped it would be her address for the next 7 years.
Irish Bulletin, February 16th, 1921.
Don't start.
Mikey! Oh my God, they let you out.
I let myself out. Got under the wire and ran like the clappers.
What, did they feed you at all? You're like a bag of bones.
I haven't slept in 3 days. They brought in the Minister of Publicity the day before I ran.
We've heard nothing since his arrest. How is he?
In good spirits. He told me to, if I made it, to tell Mac that during his interrogation he was questioned about the girl in the green tam.
You're shaking, Kathleen.
Oh, I'm just cold, that's all.
Well, I'm going to Galleys to get some sleep. See you tomorrow.
Can you dictate for me?
Mm-hmm. The 203 murders committed by the British government's murder gang. Be careful, you typed an O instead of an E.
I didn't! It's the typewriter. Some keys go funny with heavy use. See?
It's all right to be scared, Kathleen.
I haven't been sleeping.
Nightmares of men in goggles and rubber-soled shoes.
Something like that.
Being hunted takes its toll.
I'm not like all of you. I'm scared I'll break under torture.
We know too well what they do not to be afraid of that.
You'd never give in to them, Fitzy. You're brave.
Bravery only ever lasts a minute. We'd all be caught by now if we weren't afraid most of the time. Smoke? Give us your green tam. At least we can warm our hands while we burn it.
We had a great bachelor dinner at number 4 last night. The GOC military, Macready sprung up and sang Gunga Din excellent well.
Oxys and tans. Lorry loads of them. They're blocking off the street.
You'll have to try and get out now, Gally, while they're throwing up the cordon.
I'm putting my gun up here among the newspapers. See?
They're stopping people already.
You go with him, Fitzy. Take my gloves. There's ink on your hands. Mikey, go to Gilligan's and do the envelopes. I'll finish up, roll off a few copies and meet you there.
Are you not coming now, Miss Mac?
I have to finish the bulletin.
What if they catch you here with Gally's gun?
They might not search this building, but if the bulletin fails to circulate, they'll know we are inside their cordon.
Gally and Misfits are true. I'll see you in Gilligan's. So.
Nurse Linda Cairns had one of her teeth broken while under interrogation. She was charged with possession of firearms, which now carries the sentence of death.
March 8th, 1921. Went racing yesterday, but failed to net any cash. Nice day, but then back into the bowels of this bloody castle. Last night, Mayor and ex-Mayor of Limerick were murdered in their houses during curfew. The situation is deplorable. We are not pulling into our collars as either peacemakers or war makers. All our nerves are wearing thin.
There will be no Irish Bulletin over Easter. Next issue, Tuesday, 29th March.
Due to the nervous exhaustion and extreme discombobulation of the staff.
Hard to think what we shall do for 4 whole days. Ugh, stay dry by the looks of it.
Well, I'll be in the Scal on Saturday night listening to Miss Florence Howley sing Handel's Ronaldo.
This is it, number 11. Don't bother knocking, upstairs, first floor.
All right, quick!
Are you looking for Michael Collins, mister?
Why? Have you seen him, boy?
Oh, he has 10,000 on his head. If I seen him, I'd be the richest lad in Dublin.
We've got the whole damn operation. Need some boots up here to carry out the duplicator.
Easter Monday. A terrible wet day for Fairy House races. How good things got beat by a head.
Stalemate takes it first, tit for tat second, and negotiated settlement in third.
I have already lodged the first part of my diary with Fisher. 2 copies are to be typed half margin so that when I've time I can change and correct.
Irish Bulletin, 29th March 1921. I can't believe I'm back to a wax stencil and picotype.
What does the raid statement from Dublin Castle say exactly?
Several tons of files, books and literature were removed by auxiliary police on Easter Saturday. office furniture of an elaborate character, including a Romeo duplicator and...
My lovely elite typewriter.
But no mention it was the Bulletin.
Because they know they can't stop us circulating.
Even with the old box duplicator from a tiny kitchen.
At least it's warm.
Yeah.
Mr. Ackerman said to tell you he got these 2 different copies of the Bulletin this morning.
That's why they kept it quiet. They're forging the Bulletin.
And typing it on my elite typewriter. Look at the E's and the O's.
Printing codswallop. Trying to undermine the Bulletin's credibility.
And deceiving hundreds of international journalists.
Wait till Michael Collins hears about this.
It didn't take him long to find out their location.
And send your beloved elite typewriter into the great beyond.
June 15th, 1921. Dickie picked me up and we went to Leopardstown. I got out on Pacifist, who won the steeplechase very comfortably. The Shins are all for settlement. It is only a question of tactics.
Negotiated settlement is odds-on favourite. Place your bets.
July 11th. Truce comes into force. President De Valera and the Irish delegation leave for London.
From 1 page and 30 copies.
To a circulation of 1,200.
13 different hideouts.
We never miss an issue. Yet.
No living in secret anymore?
You can walk around with your head held high.
With this perched on the top.
A new green tam. Oh, thank you.
Now, Mac. No tears.
Oh, normal life will seem so dull after all of this.
We'll be back at war soon enough if the British don't give us the Republic.
Of course I want peace. It's just that I loved... Oh, never mind.
Doing things women aren't normally allowed to do?
Yes. That's it, Fitzy.
In the Republic, all citizens are equal.
To freedom.
And to the brave Bulletin staff.
None so brave as Mac.
Me? Sure didn't I learn from the best?
Oh, go on.
18th of July. The truce is a week old and still very much alive, a thriving bantling. In Southern Ireland and London, the atmosphere is all that could be hoped. Only Ulster is troubling, but I suppose a cloudless sky was too much to expect.
In The Bulletin, by Barbara Bergin, the role of Kathleen McKenna, Mac, was played by Amy McAllister. The role of Anna Fitzsimons, Fitzy, was played by Aoife Duffin. The role of Frank Gallagher, Gally, was played by Conor Dunn. The role of Mikey Noonan was played by Joseph McCarthy. And the role of Mark Sturgis was played by Perry Snowden. All other parts were played by members of the company. The director was Anastasia Osei-Kafur, with sound design and production by Farrokh Sultani. The producer was Finn Kennedy. Special thanks to Iqbal Singh, Michael Mahoney, Will Butler, Sarah Griffiths, Eliza McKee, and Barbara Bergin. The Bulletin was an Applied Stories production for the National Archives. For more information, please visit nationalarchives.gov.uk or appliedstories.co.uk.